Nancy Pelosi says she's finally walking away. The FAA slashes flights, and a Virginia teacher gets a massive payout after being shot by a 6-year-old student. I'm Daily Wire Executive Editor John Bickley with Georgia Howe. It's Thursday, November 6th. This is Evening Wire.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced today that she's retiring from Congress when her term ends in 2027. The 85-year-old San Francisco Democrat has continued to serve in the House after being the only woman to serve as House Speaker, holding that position during 2 separate 4-year stretches. Here's part of a video statement she posted today.
I have truly loved serving as your voice in Congress. With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service as your proud representative.
President Trump apparently wasn't too broken up about the news, calling her evil and corrupt. Trump told Fox, quote, "The retirement of Nancy Pelosi is a great thing for America."
More details have emerged about the tragic UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. Daily Wire reporter Amanda Presa-Giacomo has the updates.
The flight crashed during takeoff at Louisville Airport yesterday, killing all 3 crew members and at least 6 people on the ground. Footage shows the plane accelerating down the runway with one engine engulfed in flames. Officials later confirmed the engine detached during takeoff, though it's unclear whether that caused or resulted from the crash. The plane model, an MD-11, was once hailed as a cutting-edge commercial jet in the late 1980s, but has since gained a reputation for reliability issues, many now serving in cargo fleets like UPS. The Louisville aircraft had recently undergone extensive maintenance, raising questions about its airworthiness. Federal agencies are now investigating the crash.
The FAA has announced that air traffic will be slashed by 10% in 40 high-volume markets beginning tomorrow due to air traffic controller shortages brought on by the record-breaking government shutdown. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced at a press conference Wednesday that the FAA is taking proactive steps to keep the airspace safe as the government shutdown moves into its 37th day. Here's the secretary.
I anticipate there will be additional disruptions. There will be frustration. We are working with the airlines. They're going to work with passengers. But in the end, our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible. This is data-based. This is not based on what airline has more flights out of what location. This is about where is the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure.
The FAA released a list of airports most likely to see cancellations, which include massive hubs like LAX, Chicago O'Hare, and DFW.
Abby Warner, a teacher who was shot by her 6-year-old student, has been awarded $10 million by a court. Virginia jury found Vice Principal Ebony Parker grossly negligent after ignoring multiple warnings that the boy had brought a gun to the school that day. Parker must now pay the amount ordered by the court to Warner, who survived a bullet to the chest and hand. She told the court she thought she was going to heaven when the child opened fire. Her lawyers say the verdict sends a message. School officials who ignore danger will be held accountable, no matter how unthinkable the threat.
I think we have to acknowledge within our civil justice system that accountability comes from anyone who contributed to the ultimate outcome. And some of these things are foreseeable, and if we can take the appropriate measures to prevent them, then we can save lives, and we can save lives from being harmed detrimentally forever. And so ultimately, it's for the jury to decide what's right. They decided what's right, and we're grateful for their time and their attention these last 2 weeks.
President Trump responded to the election of Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani this week by telling Americans that they have a stark choice: communism or common sense. Daily Wire White House correspondent Mary Margaret Olahan was at the American Business Forum event where the president addressed Mamdani's win.
At the event, the president accused Democrats of purposefully blocking American progress. He also touted the results of his administration thus far, listing all kinds of accomplishments, including the 600,000 Americans who are lifted off food stamps, the 1.9 million more American-born workers who are employed than the first day he took office, more American workers than any time in the history of the United States, wages for factory workers up by $1,300, construction worker wages up to $2,200, Thanksgiving meals 25% lower than a year ago, egg prices down 85%, energy prices down, interest rates down, and more.
If you want to see what congressional Democrats wish to do to America, just look at the result of yesterday's election in New York, where their party installed a communist as the mayor of the largest city in the nation. After last night's results, the decision facing all Americans could not be more clear. We have a choice between communism and common sense. They stand for crime and chaos and corruption. We stand for law and order and justice. They put America last. We put America first. We put America first.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries continues to withhold direct praise for Mamdani, even following his endorsement. Jeffries was asked about the mayor-elect's influence yesterday. Here's how he responded.
You had record turnout in New York City for this election. Would you say that Mamdani is the future of the Democratic Party?
I would say we had record turnout across the country because Democrats, they ran amazing campaigns. But what Democrats have done all across the country is lean into the issue of affordability because of the fact that America's too expensive. Costs are too high, and Donald Trump and Republicans, they've made it worse.
Jeffries' dodge comes after many top Democratic leaders declined to endorse Mamdani, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and former President Barack Obama.
California Republicans filed a federal lawsuit on Wednesday arguing that the Democratic-drawn congressional map approved by voters Tuesday night unconstitutionally favors Hispanics. Daily Wire reporter Zach Jewell has more.
The Dillon Law Group filed the lawsuit on behalf of the California Republican Party, State Representative David Tanguipa, and 18 California voters. The lawsuit argues that Proposition 50 violates the Equal Protection Clause. Harmeet Dillon led the Dillon Law Group before President Trump tapped her to lead the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division earlier this year. Prop 50 seeks to gerrymander districts in a way that shifts 5 districts from Republicans to Democrats. Dillon Law Group partner Mike Colombo announced the lawsuit at a press conference.
This violates the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection under the law and the right under the 15th Amendment to not have one's vote abridged on account of race. When drawing the Proposition 50 map, the chief consultant who drew the map has stated that the first thing that he did was to increase the power of Latino voters.
An illegal immigrant attempted to hide from ICE in a daycare center in Chicago. Daily Wire immigration reporter Jenny Terr has the story.
An illegal immigrant bolted into a daycare to shield herself from ICE agents in Chicago on Wednesday. Federal agents were seen wrangling the Colombian woman who appeared to yell and fight back after she reportedly ran from them. The Department of Homeland Security says the officers had tried to pull her over on the road, but the driver accompanying her refused to stop the car. That led to a vehicle pursuit that ended in a shopping center where the driver and the suspect jumped out and ran inside a Spanish early learning center. ICE arrested her in the building's vestibule, not inside the school. But Democratic Illinois Rep. Mike Quigley falsely accused ICE of snatching a, quote, preschool teacher without a warrant in front of children in my district. DHS was quick to correct the record.
President Trump announced that the U.S. will ramp up nuclear weapons testing to be on an equal basis with other countries' programs. In a video statement posted to Truth Social Wednesday, the president said that though he hated to do it, he had to order the Department of War to match the testing done by other military powers, particularly Russia and China. Here's the president.
The United States of America has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office, where I rebuilt the military. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it having to do with nuclear weapons, but I really had no choice. Russia is second in line and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years.
The FBI arrested 3 more young men in connection with an alleged foiled Halloween terror plot. The 3 men, all 19, expressed support for ISIS and fantasized about killing non-Muslims in group chats. Acting U.S. Attorney Alina Habba announced the arrests on X.
The first suspect is charged with conspiring to provide material support to a designated terrorist organization. The second suspect is charged with transmitting violent, anti-Semitic threats across the internet to individuals in the state of New Jersey and beyond. The threat of terrorism is real. According to the complaint, they pledged themselves to ISIS and were plotting acts of terrorism in our country.
2 of the men arrested were scheduled to fly to Turkey later this week, where at least one of them intended to join ISIS in Syria, according to authorities. A Dallas Cowboys player has died just days after scoring his first NFL touchdown. Crane & Company co-host David Cohn has more.
Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland died Thursday morning, the team said. He was 24 years old and in his second NFL season. Dispatch audio obtained by TMZ revealed that Kneeland's girlfriend and family were concerned about his well-being on Wednesday night after he reportedly texted them saying goodbye and that he would end it all. Kneeland's girlfriend also told police that Kneeland was armed and had a history of mental issues, according to the Dispatch audio. The Cowboys did not reveal the cause of Kneeland's death, which came just 3 days after he scored his first touchdown in the NFL when he recovered a blocked punt in the end zone against the Arizona Cardinals.
And in other sports news, a professional women's soccer player who was shamed by her teammates for saying she doesn't want men participating in the women's league has responded. Daily Wire reporter Lyndon Blake reports.
Angel City Football Club player Elizabeth Eddy said the National Women's Soccer League should be for women. And for that, the captains of the team publicly rebuked her, calling her views racist and transphobic. A few days later, Eddy has responded. She sat down with Fox News for an interview. While she said she welcomed disagreement from her teammates, they crossed the line when they turned to personal attacks.
Reasonable people can disagree on this topic, but there's no need to go to bullying and name calling because it doesn't set a good example for anyone. But furthermore, these teammates are my friends, and I've known them for a very long time. And in fact, they've been invited to my wedding. I hope they come. And I think it's super important to offer an olive branch because at the end of the day, we're all humans, and getting on the same page and choosing to work together, I think, is very important.
All right, those are your drive home updates. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it earlier today, we covered some major stories, including the Supreme Court considering Trump's tariffs, the standoff brewing between Mamdani and ICE, and the growing battle to shift the balance of power in Congress through redistricting. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another full edition of Morning Wire.